Welcome to this series about capacity and capability building to craft and shape operations, enabling adoption and adaption. As we go through this journey, we take a more in-depth look at selected aspects with a focus on business issues around technological transformation. With these being more in depth on heavier materials, please feel free to review the takeout points if in a rush, but also take your time to go through, pause, and get the real benefits. We hope the skills and expertise shared is of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others. This week, we try and distill some key points around the knowledge worker service automation and artificial intelligence, looking at it from an organizational leadership perspective. Technology transformation is more than cost savings. It is the cost of doing business to serve customers and realize opportunities. The business pragmatics and actions of people will determine the success of transformation. A risk-based approach to emergent behavior for transformation is required. We know the issues and how to respond to them in transformation, but we expect the systemic issues to impact as in any other transformation. This and more is explored in this video. Again, taking an organizational leadership perspective, whether board, executive, team lead, or person of influence. Ownership. For the transformation to succeed and for AI and automated knowledge worker operations to be effective, there needs to be ownership. The classic is automated cars and an accident. Who is responsible? There needs to be ownership, but the getting out of ownership responsibility often occurs. Addressing ownership requires ethics. Having ethics in the AI as well as in the operations. Alignment of interests and values. Creating an alignment of interests and values across the team. Influencing others. Being the leadership you wish to see and treating others as you would wish to be treated is part of influencing others. Leadership, the ability to guide, influence, make decisions, and respond to circumstance. Incentives. Ownership drives the incentives as much as incentives impact ownership. Incentives include support. Providing and having the right support is required. Peer influences. Where peer influences with unrealistic outcomes resist change, push for rushed lower quality results to meet political needs, or providing a positive influence, peer pressure is part of the AI transformation. Budgets, funding and resources are needed. Rewards. Whether it is bonuses, incentives, or just recognition, the right rewards for the required emergent behaviors and outcomes are needed. Risk. Management of risk, whether strategic, systemic, or operational, is part of the transformation and ongoing operations. Despite all of the frameworks, controls, the risk of the transformation is impacted by unknown success. Managing a transformation is about accepting the risks of unknown success and unknown impacts should issues arise. Possible returns. A transformation is about possible returns with little certainty. Variable environment. The environment in which the transformation occurs is itself changing, and a 2-year strategic transformation can be overtaken by events. Complexity of change. The complexity of the change increases the risk. All of these come together to increase the risk of the transformation, impact the risk profile of the transformation and the organization. One of the practical manifestations is a reluctance to undergo transformation and to use competing priorities as a way to defer. Vested interest. This is one of the major influences impacting owners, risk, and incentives. The vested interest can be supportive of transformation, but vested interests may lose in a transformation and can work to resist and or slow a transformation. Vested interest impacts motivation to transform, affirmation of the need to transform and the overall intent and activities, intention to transform and how to transform, direction over the transformation. Collectively, these form a risk-based approach to an emergent behavior impacting transformation. Look at your own business experiences as examples. From the organizational leadership perspective, these need to be addressed and managed if a transformation is to occur. From the organizational leadership perspective, there is the need for an emergent behavior for the transformation in the AI and in the ongoing operations and services. Whether it is a board, the executive, or a team lead, the emergent behavior is part of what is required for capacity and capability building for adoption and adaption. The 4 main factors for which an emergent behavior is needed are operations and processes, operating end to end as the customer interacts, while taking the customer on the transformation journey to show values, outcomes, rewards, and opportunities. The customer can be internal or external, and the same applies to vendors or stakeholders. There is a need to transform operations and processes around AI and knowledge worker automation. Technology. This is the major part of the transformation with cloud-based services consumption. More significant is the emergent behavior for provision of an integrated core platform for business operations. The transition of technology to information services for business consumption and application with the revised service models and operations. Data. Alongside the technology transition to information provision is the transformation in the provisioning, management, and assurance of information. Transformation is about the emergent behavior on a risk-based approach for data to provide the continuity of products and services in automated operations. The data needs to be quality assured, but also in context with metadata and process integrated with search, algorithms, supporting the required errors and exceptions handling. People. Having the right people with the required skilling, ability to do, training, how to do, with professional skills to adopt and adapt. The transition will also see the revised mix of expertise across the business areas required. The challenge is capacity and capability building for adoption and adaption while maintaining operations for the transformation. From the board through the executive to managers, team leads, and people of influence, the need is for emergent behaviours for the transformation around AI and automated knowledge worker services, with taking people on the journey of transformation, bringing changes to data, technology, operations, and processes. From the organizational leadership perspective, some of the business pragmatics have been reviewed so far, together with the emergent behaviors in people, technology, data, and operations and processes. Across the business, or technology is the cycle of design, development, implementation, operation, and assurance, and consumption, which covers the major role types of users within information management and consumption. Design. Those involved in the design, whether it is research, commercialization, inventing, or creating. Irrespective of technology or business products and services to customers, the design needs to consider risk, ethics, ownership, and testing as core principles which are used in the design and embedded within the design. Other emergent behaviors required are the layered approach for an overall emergent outcome, as well as the handling of errors and exceptions. With the embedding of these in the design, the principles carry across to assure automated operations and services. Development. For those in the development of automation, whether it be the technology build and testing or the development of products and services which use automation, development is driven by the pragmatics of operating end to end to assure quality of handoff in the process through the information service provision. Within this is the role of testing within the development, including for requirements and for the benchmark testing to assure outcomes. Implementation. Getting automation and AI implemented into operations is also the management of emergent behaviors with common principles and practices. The focus includes assurance of service outcomes, taking people on the transformation journey to capacity and capability build with staged incremental implementation to strategy managed to outcomes. Operations. The ongoing operations of automated knowledge workers and AI is based on a risk-based approach using an emergent behavior. The focus is the provision, management, and assurance of information in processes for automated processing end to end through a layered approach using the business proven pragmatics for operations and service delivery. Assurance. Ongoing assurance of the service and operations is a risk-based approach to an emergent behaviour. This includes the governance, the risk management, and an alignment to overall strategy applied from the board through the executive into operational management. The need for overall capacity and capability building for adoption and adaption is required across the organization and is a board issue. Consumption. The ongoing consumption of information in products and services for both machine to machine and for knowledge worker provision and consumption requires that customers are also taken on the transformation journey through seeing outcomes and in a staged incremental approach. The need for accreditation and certification of information professionals, front office and back office, is part of the transition. Whether it is technology or the business, whether it is staff or customers, from the board down through the executive and from the bottom up, the need to capacity and capability build for adoption and adaption to a risk-based approach to emergent behaviours is part of the AI transformation. In distilling the transformation around AI and automated knowledge worker services, we come back to common business pragmatics, the personalities, the profit and loss, the peer pressure, and the other realities of how people interact will all impact. The hard work of highly skilled people will see the integration, implementation, and transformation just as it always does. Thank you for your time. May the skills and expertise shared be of value to you and those you support in this changing world. Please subscribe, add your comments, and share with others.